This article is on DesMoinesRegister.com. It's a local newspaper in Iowa. It's pretty trustworthy. It's always been really trustworthy as far as I know. This newspaper has. So let's give this article a read. It says, the title is, "I'm All About a Revolution. Transcript reveals details of Doug Jensen's first interview with the FBI." So I just want to remind you guys, I'm not super comfortable playing this clip live on air because it could be copyrighted or whatever, but I'm just going to skim through real quick. I was watching all this stuff live when this was happening, and I remember the news called in to somebody called into the news, and they were saying they were trapped in a room right there, and they said somebody's in the hallway, they just got inside, and there's a police officer that's leading them away right now. And it was like the scariest situation. I had no idea what was happening, and later I actually saw a video of it. The people on January 6th actually busted in, and this cop was leading them away, and he follows them up the stairs running, the people follow the cop up the stairs running after him, and incredibly this cop leads them to a police line and away from like where people were really trapped. And this guy right here in the front running up the stairs after the cop right there in the black shirt with this little logo on it, that's the guy we're talking about. That guy is Doug Jensen. So the FBI interviewed him after the fact. This is him right here. Once again, and he's wearing a Q shirt. Shirt says, "Trust the plan, Q." By the way, if you're unaware, January 6th was supposed to be QAnon's storm. Remember, Trump alluded to the storm is coming, and QAnon's been talking about the storm being here any day now, all that stuff. January 6th was supposed to be the storm. It was supposed to be the day that they took the country back and arrested all of the people and sent them to tribunals and all that other stuff. It was supposed to be the storm, and it didn't succeed. Luckily, it almost did. Anyway, let's read this article written by William Morris on the Des Moines Register. From secret messages passed at former President George H.W. Bush's funeral to Q sightings at Michael Jackson's Neverland Ranch, Doug Jensen's first conversation with federal investigators was steeped in the alternate reality of conspiracy forums. The Des Moines resident is set to be tried in September on charges stemming from his role in the January 6, 2021 riot at the U.S. Capitol, where a crowd of supporters of President Donald Trump went to try to prevent the certification of Joe Biden's presidential election victory. Jensen achieved instant notoriety when he was caught on video during the riot, chasing and confronting a police officer inside the Capitol while wearing a distinctive QAnon t-shirt. 2 days later, as news outlets aired the video, Jensen showed up unannounced at the Des Moines police station, saying he'd walked the 6 miles from his home. The resulting interview with 2 FBI agents, made available in full for the first time Friday in a transcript filed in court by prosecutors, played a key role in his subsequent arrest. The interview lasted several hours with multiple breaks as Jensen explained that "I'm all about a revolution" and talked extensively about the QAnon conspiracy theory. Over the course of the conversation, he took the 2 agents deep into the details of QAnon. The belief that then-President Donald Trump was leading a secret war against childs who would be arrested in an event known as the Storm. It was a cause, he said, he associated with because he'd been from ages 7 to 14. Wow, that's very heartbreaking and sad. I'm so sorry. He told the agents that at one point shortly before the riot, Trump began a speech with "my fellow Americans," a common phrase in politics. That to him sounded like a call to arms. Yeah, see, the thing about QAnon is they're in such a conspiracy mindset that everything sounds like a code to them. Everything. I was talking about like some Trump rallies earlier where people were going to these Trump rallies and they were saying all this stuff about secret codes and everything else. I mean, listen to this guy. Actually, listen to this woman, for example. This was at a Trump rally in Ohio, I think April 23rd.
Hey, first of all, y'all are so cute. I love the outfits. I would like detailed explanations on every single shirt. Ready, set, go.
Right? So, living.
She's pointing to Princess Diana and some other people.
Living, and we know living, ruling the world, and you don't take down evil by being quiet or silent, right? So people need to understand who they are. Do they look like them today? No.
You think Princess Diana is still alive?
Absolutely, 100%. Do you?
I didn't, but maybe you have something that you know that I don't know.
Well, you know God speaks to us, right? There's ways that we can figure these things out. So if people start learning ABC 1, 2, 3, which Michael Jackson talked about how many years ago, right? And he sang about. So when people start understanding gematria.
There, gematria. That's what she was talking about. The ABC 1, 2, 3 thing. Gematria is like this thing where you take letters of the alphabet and apply numbers to them. So like she said, A is 1, B is 2, C is 3, D is 4, all the way down to Z, which is number 26. So these people in the QAnon movement, they're already ready to believe in code. They're already prepared to buy into all of this. They're already buying into it right now. So it honestly does not surprise me to find out that he heard Trump say, "my fellow Americans," in a speech and believed that to be a call to arms. He believed that to be code from Donald Trump. Let's keep reading the article. Q always told us that when he says, "my fellow Americans, the storm is here," that's when we're supposed to go, he said. That's when we're supposed to do anything. Well, he started off that speech a couple weeks ago with "my fellow Americans." That's all he had to do. I don't believe for 1 second that Donald Trump didn't know exactly what he was doing. I don't believe for a second Donald Trump doesn't know the QAnon belief system inside and out and find ways to manipulate it and take advantage of it. I don't believe for a second he doesn't know that. I am convinced Donald Trump intentionally said "my fellow Americans" in that speech, intentionally to get people whipped into a blood frenzy. Honestly, that's just my opinion. Take that for what you will. Back to the article. To Jansen, it also was a hidden signal when a flag on Bush's casket was wrinkled, and he said Bush's family supposedly received secret letters during his funeral. Jansen said that he'd been a lifelong Democrat and had voted for Barack Obama in both of his presidential bids. He'd planned to vote for Hillary Clinton in 2016, he said, but said he was shocked when WikiLeaks published a trove of emails and other materials from close Clinton associates that he believes showed she posed a grave threat to the nation. Yeah, I think this is where Pizzagate came from, and that's also a common belief within QAnon, the QAnon movement. So, as he researched further, he told the agents he was persuaded by reports alleging kidnappings and other misconduct connected to the Clinton Foundation. I sat and looked at that stuff. I went through all kinds of stuff, and I was like, oh my God. And then along comes Q, he said, according to the transcript, referring to the supposed Trump White House insider behind the QAnon movement, who posted frequent messages about the secret struggle against the blank ring and coming mass arrests. He said he became an ardent supporter of Trump, using the numerous social media platforms on which he was active to try to persuade people to re-elect him in 2020. When he spoke with investigators on January 8th, Jansen still expected the imminent arrest of Vice President Mike Pence and other senior officials involved in certifying the Electoral College vote for Biden. I truly feel bad for this guy. Like, he's deep down the rabbit hole, right? This is a full-blown cult. If you weren't convinced before, this should truly be enough to convince you. This is a full-blown cult. A cult of Trump. Honestly, I think that the cult of QAnon and the cult of Trump are slightly different things, and they both exist independent of each other. But there's a lot of intermingling with the two groups. It's really interesting how the dynamic plays out between them. This is a quote from the article. "I think we're right now at the start of our 10 days in darkness," he said. Yeah, 10 days in darkness is this another QAnon thing. They believe that there's going to be 10 days of darkness after a storm or before the storm. I forget which now. All kinds of stuff. He said he believed Trump was the true victor in the 2020 election. He won. Why can't we just have him as the president for 4 years? Jansen said. I don't understand why that was so hard. He didn't win. He didn't win. There's no evidence that he won. This guy lives in a different reality than all of us. Just a different reality, man. He acknowledged some people think I'm insane, and I don't believe I am. I believe everything, 100%. He said that when he got word of a planned gathering of Trump supporters in Washington on January 6th to oppose Biden's electoral vote certification, he took time off his job at a masonry company and drove to Washington. Joining the crowd that marched to the Capitol following a Trump rally, he said he wore his QAnon shirt because I basically intended on being the poster boy, as it really worked, and it really worked out. Well, I think there was a be an even bigger poster boy in the form of Jacob Chansley, a.k.a. the QAnon shaman. I think he was probably the poster boy. Everybody wanted to be the poster boy of QAnon. I guess Jacob Chansley won the honor, if you could call it an honor. I didn't. I did not plan it. It just happened, you know? He said of entering the Capitol. I always am that guy. I gotta be at the front of the concert. I gotta be the front, you know? I gotta get to the front of that crowd. So that kicked in, I guess. He said he entered through a window. I mean, did you not realize that what you were doing was against the law? Seriously, you are entering a building that you don't have permission to enter, and you're entering through a window. It's not even a door. You're entering through a window, man. How did you not connect the dots that this was illegal? And you were going to get in trouble for this. I felt like I was being told to come on, like I was being led, he said. You were at the front. You just told us you were. You weren't being led by anybody. Well, Donald Trump, I guess. Donald Trump certainly encouraged these people to go down there and do something about it. So I guess you could say he was being led, although he was at the front. He said he was upset that he had been depicted in TV news reports as a don't commit acts of then. Sorry, man. I'm patriotic, he said. They usually see themselves that way. Just, laying that out there for you. I am for America, and I feel like we're being taken over by communist China, and the whole Russian collusion was fake. I don't know what the deal with Russia is, but I don't know. Vladimir Putin, he seems to be like a decent person, but I could be crazy, This poor guy. Is just gone. Like his head is filled with nothing but propaganda. Asked by an agent if he had any regrets about being part of the crowd in the Capitol, he said, I don't know. It depends on if the outcome I wanted happens. Then it would have been worth it. But if nothing happens except for negativity from this, and I'm a rioter, then yeah, I completely regret it. Well, I guess he completely regrets it. The interview ended with him agreeing to turn over his phone to the agents and giving them his passwords. 3 days later, he was arrested. I honestly can't believe he even showed up. Why did he even go there? Just a quick FYI for anybody listening. Never, under any circumstances, ever talk to cops without a lawyer sitting right next to you, no matter what. Not one word. Tell them your name and your date of birth and absolutely nothing else until a lawyer shows up, period. Don't talk to cops. Don't talk to correctional guards. Don't talk to anybody without a lawyer. I don't give a shit what else is happening around. Never talk to a cop without a lawyer present, even if you think they're on your side. Even if they're trying to help you with something or pretending to help you with something or whatever. Never, ever talk to a cop without a lawyer with you. I want to make that clear. That guy could possibly not be sitting in jail today if he had not talked to the cops without a lawyer. He'd probably still be in jail after what he did. Prosecutors filed the transcript alongside their reply to Jansen's motion to suppress all evidence from the interview. See, the guy knew he made a mistake and tried to suppress all evidence from the interview. If he hadn't talked to them without his lawyer, the interview never would have happened, and he wouldn't have had to file a motion to suppress it. Don't talk to the cops without a lawyer, ever. Jansen argued that he'd been effectively in custody while he talked to the FBI agents, and that investigators should have read him his Miranda rights. Nah, I mean, he showed up there of his own free will. He walked there and he agreed to speak to them of his own free will. He knew he wasn't under arrest for the thing. He was cooperating with them. Do not cooperate without a lawyer. In response, prosecutors point out that Jansen had come to the police station of his own volition, was told repeatedly that he was free to go, and in fact was given a ride home after the conversation ended. Jansen's statements were voluntary and uncoerced, prosecutors said in Friday's filings. That's true, and that was one of his biggest mistakes. He shouldn't have said a word. He should have waited for them to come to him, and then he should have gotten a lawyer and not said a word until the lawyer told him to. I am glad, though, that he decided to cooperate and talk to the FBI and work with everybody, because I want justice to be done. What he did was he committed a crime, and I want to see justice done for that crime. I'm sorry that he was terribly misled. I hope he finds a way to deprogram himself, or I hope somebody can deprogram him for us, or deprogram him on his behalf. But yeah, there's just no excuse for bad behavior like that, for criminal behavior. If you disagree with me on anything that I've said, please hit me up on Twitter and let me know, at Telltale Atheist. Do you think the guy deserved to go to jail for what he did, or no? Let me know.